I do use GA more of like a diagnosis tool than I do for anything else. For instance, if I have an ad in the account that has like an extremely high click-through rate, but there's no purchases, I'll go to GA and be like, oh, 80% of the traffic is bounces. The ad must be like clickbaity or something that we didn't like do intentionally. Like for instance, we had like a screen recording of like a text message, like a thank you for this, send a friend, oh my gosh, kind of message. And we realized after the fact it was the high click-through rate, but no purchases. We realized after the fact that you like the contact info at the top was cropped. So people were most likely clicking on the video to see like who sent that message. Um, and they weren't actually interested in the product. So GA is a good like diagnosis tool for that. We make a lot of choices off of in-platform data, and we rely heavily on post-purchase surveys to kind of give us in-platform like proxy goals. Like the goals aren't perfect. Like we could be like 80% of the way to the goal in platform, according to our post-purchase survey, but still like be doing fine on first purchase profitability. So it varies quite a bit, but yeah, just kind of looking at like relativity in the ad account, and like knowing our goals, but knowing there's like a lot of leeway day to day in the account.
And that is so important. The fluctuations and understanding like, okay, this day could be slow, but maybe this metric means something good, right? Like there's a high increase of email signups or something, right? But that is really important to look a bit holistically. Speaking on like the third party attribution tools, one question that was brought up in the group was, what do you feel third party tools are leading you astray on, and what do you feel like they're helping you with that you couldn't discern otherwise? So essentially pros and cons to them. I made a few notes. I know Northbeam much better than I know Triple Whale, so I'm looking at Northbeam. It's helped me out a ton, but I think it helps understand a bit more of the customer journey and allocating spend according to that. So like overall media mix and simplifying the consolidation. So it's really nice to have Facebook and Google and all like Pinterest, everything wherever you're spending money in one area. It's really nice also to swap between attribution models. So if you're looking at like 7-day click, 1-day view, 7-day click, 1-day click, accrual, cash, first touch ROAS, last touch ROAS, all that kind of stuff. I'm not like, it's not biblical to me, but it's definitely helpful to understand, okay, if I'm running a Pinterest ad and first touch ROAS is really strong, okay, people must be coming into a funnel, seeing this, or just making decisions based off that. So I think that is helpful. I haven't used the one brand that's using it for right now. It doesn't have like a large LTV, but I think the LTV cohorts are pretty cool. Just based on like how you can discern like, do you want to be what they ordered their first product, what discount codes they use, what weeks they're acquired, did they come back? It's like if you ran a sale and they had a bunch of first time purchasers, are they coming back years later, months later? So yeah, I think there's a lot of pros to it. There's probably more than I'm missing there. I think the one way it could be leading people astray and people need to dial in is understanding your business KPIs and how looking at the Northbeam data relates to that. So what I mean by that is like if you're basing off of like a blended MER, looking at 7-day click ROAS, you need to establish what is good and what is bad based on historical data. And they help you with that now, but I think it's based only on 1-day click, which may not be completely applicable to everybody. Because I've gone into brands like they're like, yeah, we're looking for this 1-day click ROAS. It's like, well, no, you really aren't, because based on historical data, like it needs to be this for everything to back out. So that's where I think it can get like weedy. It gives you a lot of info, but if you don't use the info properly, I think that's where you can run into issues. Anybody else in terms of Triple Whale or Northbeam have pros and cons? Where does it lead you astray? What does it help you with?
My personal opinion is triple whale. We invest in triple whale, so like caveat there. I know that is a big topic on Twitter right now, is being sure to disclose that. So, but I personally
just
think
saw
that
too.
yeah, I personally think that the attribution is like one of the least important reasons I like triple L. I like it for the consolidation reasons. I like looking at the cohorts. I like looking at the journey, the product journey, not the attribution journey. The product analytics is fascinating. I just like that I don't have to pull up a bunch of different things. I think that's the biggest thing, and you mentioned that. I think the attribution. I think I've also seen people talk about like every marketer goes down this attribution journey of thinking that everything is true, then it's all fault. Like we all go through this path. I think it's kind of, you have to go through it. But I do think the attribution just gives like, it almost gives you like too much to look at, and you try to figure out what's the most important metric, and then you realize that there is no most important metric, and you constantly have to evaluate each thing's value over long enough periods of time. So I think it's interesting for the reasons I said earlier, like new customer ROAS on a campaign or an ad level is fascinating to me, to know if my exclusions are broken at one point. Like that teed me off to learning that my Klaviyo wasn't syncing properly once. And then also just knowing what percentage of traffic is new from a channel to know if I'm driving like new eyeballs, but Google Analytics can do that. So I don't know if it's super important.